Sports Card Strategy Show. Paul Hickey with nooffseason.com. I've got the full crew in the house. Sonia is back in the backstage studio, and we've got Lefty, McKee, and Dr. Chad, the sports card Dr. Guell, in the house. And we're excited to be with you today. As many of you already know, we're going to be doing something a little bit different today for the bulk of the show. How to pick a good break. And we're going to be breaking a box of Bowman U Inception and 1990 NBA Hoops Series 1, which is a set that I actually put together a couple times when I was a kid. So that's courtesy of Dr. Crack Chad Guell, the sports card doctor. He shipped it over to Lefty. So good morning, everybody. And for those of you who are new to the show, we welcome new listeners. Typically, we go into an audience Q&A. But today we're replacing our audience Q&A with how to pick a good break. We've been talking about this for a while. Should breaking be part of your sports card strategy? What place does it have in your overall ecosystem? We're going to go around real quick and say good morning. People in the chat, oh my shoes, good morning. Ryan Boruski, good morning. And Chad Guell, I love when he breaks the third wall. Good to see him in the chat and on the camera. And let's start with you, Dr. Chad Guell. How are you doing today, my man?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you. Can't wait for this. This is exciting.
Evan Bell in the house. I met Evan face-to-face in Richmond, Virginia this past weekend. So I'm going to get over to that story here in a second. But Lefty, how you doing, man? We know you're setting things up, so I don't mean to stop what you're doing, but how's it going, brother?
It's good. I'm excited about this. I am ready for any and all questions that you guys have.
Oh, and I might have the most questions, but I'll try.
I figured actually you would have the most questions. So I have a question ticker for Paul. And
yeah.
Once you exceed a certain limit, then I'm going to invoice you.
Okay. So the question ticker is replacing. Normally we do an over under on Chad's light going off. He's not in the office today.
Yeah.
So we can't do that, but Lefty's replacing it with my question ticker. That's awesome. All right. Absolutely. So before we get into it here, guys, Graybo's Sports Cards is a local hobby shop owned by Gray Burnett, Ryan Fitz, and Duke Denny One Time Dodson. You know where they're located. It's the Arts District of Richmond, Virginia. Graybo's sports the best selection of raw and graded singles in the Mid-Atlantic and a wide variety of wax. Listeners of the Sports Card Strategy Show can receive a 10% discount on any purchase at graybos.co by entering the promo code. For those of you new to the show, the promo code is Strategy2023. Graybo's now breaks on the Drip app 5 nights a week, including baseball, basketball, football, and wrestling breaks. If you use the link in their IG bio, which is Graybos_cards, you can also get a 15% credit after your first purchase on Drip. That is the way that the Drip app works, my friends. You can follow all of Graybo's news and updates on Instagram at Graybos_cards. More about Graybo's to come because I was there this weekend. I just landed, like literally I got back to my house like 5 hours ago, set up my podcasting equipment, got a couple hours of sleep, and here we are. So more on that in a second. Get unlimited personalized advice at nooffseason.com to build your sports card investment portfolio. Get a free 30-day trial now at nooffseason.com. Stay subscribed past your 30-day trial and you get a free premium pack. More on that to come. And a little update here on our partnership with Market Movers. So I like this. I like this for all of you new to the show, for all of you thinking about getting into Market Movers app and getting into the data that we talk about a lot on the show. Now, instead of that first month for only $1, this is way better. Now, if you use the promo code NOOFFSEASON at marketmoversapp.com, you can get a free 14-day trial and 20% off for life of any of their products. This is way better because as you renew, you still get that 20% off every time that you renew. That is a W for sure. So don't forget to check out marketmoversapp.com. Use the promo code NOOFFSEASON for 14 days free and then 20% off for life on any product. So I'm I'm ready to get into my L of the week, my W of the week, my buy and sell of the week. What about you guys? You ready to get into it?
Let's do it.
Okay. The quicker we get into that, the quicker we can get into the break and how to pick a good break and what we're doing on today's show. So even if you're listening on Apple and Spotify, this actually isn't necessarily all about looking at the cards that we're showing on the break. I mean, that's going to be part of it, and that's going to be probably a little bit more interesting for those of you on YouTube. But the point of today's show is to really talk about breaking, why it exists, the good, the bad, the ugly in breaking, but really like asking questions about strategy behind it. So I'll get into my L first, guys. And my L, speaking of breaking, is ripping wax. Every time I rip wax, I get crushed. So I bought 3 boxes of Bowman U Chrome. 2 of them were from our friends at Texas Roadshow Shop. Shout out to Cody Krim, Chase Krim. Great guys over there. Texas Roadshow Shop. Got a couple of boxes of Bowman U Chrome basketball from them. Through no fault of their own, obviously. They don't know what's in the boxes, but I would say I got crushed. I will go through all of that on this week's episode of the Sports Card Strategy Show and Tell on Thursday, so I'm not going to get into all of that, but let's just say that's my L of the week. My my W of the week, one of my W's of the week, is that I added back F1 soccer and golf rankings to the website over the weekend. A lot of you have been asking about that. We've had premium member questions. We've had show listener questions about like what's happening with nooffseason.com. Long story short, we've made it a lot better. Chad and Kendall and a guy named Mike Miller, a guy named Ryan Painter, Sonia even, who's backstage, we're all contributing content to the website, keeping it updated all the time for everybody and especially for the premium members. But adding back the F1 soccer and golf rankings were a huge thing. There's not as many players ranked because we want narrow focus, but there is great information there and cards that you should buy on those athletes. So be sure to check that out. My other win of the week, guys, and then I'm going to hand it over to each of you. You can go through your L and your W all at once. My other win of the week is shout out to Graybo's. I was at Graybo's meeting. I had already met Ryan Fitz and Duke Dotson face-to-face at Mint Collective. Meeting Evan Bell face-to-face was a huge win of the week. Evan Bell in the house, lives near Graybo's. He came into the shop. We did a class for kids on how to value a sports card. That was a huge win. We had a good amount of young gentlemen and their parents showed up before the card shop opened. Duke and I did a class. It went really well. You can go to nooffseason.com/Graybos and you can see all of that content right now. If you really want to, well, not right now, but after this show, go check it out. And we also did a sports card strategy show and tell live from Graybos. So that is posted at nooffseason.com/Graybos. Of course, you can find it on the YouTube channel. I'm just giving you the quick link. But being there, visiting Graybos, creating content with those guys, their shop is a win. Let me just tell you, I've been to some shops. Not all LCSs are wins. Graybos is a win. You walk in immediately on your right. You have value boxes. You have underpriced slab boxes. You have your dollar boxes. I made some deals. My deals that I made at Graybos, I picked up a ton of cards at Graybos. They will be on this week's episode of the Sports Card Strategy Show and Tell as well. We don't have enough time to get into them today, but I wanted to give you guys that overview. And then Duke and I sat down, did a little one-on-one podcast about like the trials and tribulations of owning a card shop, opening up a card shop. Super interesting insights there. You can check that out as well at nooffseason.com/Graybos. Okay. That's my L and my W. Let's go over to Chad for his L and his W all at once. Chad, what do you got for us, man?
All right. Well, my L and my W are pretty much the same thing, unfortunately. So over the weekend, I was starting to put together an article for our premium members about where there's smoke, there's fire, is what I was going to call it. And with the NBA draft coming up, I was going to talk about the time is now to buy Bradley Beal, because there is a lot of talk that he's going to get traded. And then last night, the news broke that he actually did get traded, and it made my article I was going to post this morning completely irrelevant. So that is my L of the week. My W of the week is I did purchase some Bradley Beal cards before the announcement went up as I was writing the article. So I got some W's. Unfortunately, I did not get it out in time for everybody else to share in that love. So that's my W and my L. It's the same thing. It's Bradley Beal moving to the Suns.
Bradley Beal. I did see that. Hey, Chad, while we got you on here, this is not about Bradley Beal, but I'm not sure if this is an L or a W. You can clarify for me. The centering tool that we talked about just showed up in my mailbox. I literally walked out and got it before the show today.
Awesome.
So like this, but it's this.
Yeah.
It's okay. So how does it work? I mean, you
lay it over the top of a card.
And so I'm guessing that it's clear, and that the reason I can see it is because the dude put a piece of paper behind it. Is that right? So it's clear and you lay it over the top of the card.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, sweet. So that is a W then. So you lay this over the top of the card. And then I did get my magnifier, my loop magnifier. I thought it was broken until I realized you literally have to put it on the object, like on the object.
Yeah.
You don't see anything. It's like black until you put it on the object, Lefty. So
Yes.
does that damage the card?
No.
Okay.
No.
You put it on the card. Do you guys put it on the centering tool?
No, I don't. I mean, it's when you look at the centering tool and you have your card underneath it, you can see it.
Yeah, you can see it. And I actually use it more on my computer than I do on a card. So I blow the card up on eBay or on whatever website I'm on, and I lay the tool right over the top so I can see what I'm buying. That's where
cool.
I honestly use it more online than I do in person.
That's interesting. Okay, so real quick, before we get over to Lefty for his L and his W, Chad. So laying the centering tool over the card, do you keep it in the penny sleeve, or you like, because you got to take it out use the mag? I'm just trying to clarify how not to damage my card. That's the goal here. So I'm just trying. Can you walk us through real quick?
Well, you can.
Step by
Yeah,
step?
I mean, you can leave it in the penny sleeve. You could leave it in the top loader if you wanted to. It's just a clear overlay piece of plastic. You lay it over the top, and it allows you to look at the lines and see whether or not the card is centered top to bottom, left to right. Once you do it a couple of times, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, how did I ever get by without this thing? It's the best $5 piece of anything that you can buy in the card. That $5 investment will save you hundreds of dollars in the next year, I promise.
So go to nooffseason.com. In the main menu of the website, you'll see under supplies, I think, or tools, centering tool.
Supplies.
Click there, buy it from there. Supplies. Okay, last question. The magnifier, right?
Yep.
Just want to make sure you're taking the card out to where it's just the card, nothing protecting it, and you're literally setting the magnifier on top of it where it's touching it, and then that's how you see the card, and that's what you're doing.
You do not need to let the magnifier touch the card. An inch away is more than plenty for the 10 times magnifier. You can let it. There's nothing sharp on that. The only thing that you have to be careful of if you're going to touch the card is when you go up over the top of the edges and you come back, the magnifier can catch the edge of the card and damage it. So I don't actually touch the card. I'll either leave the card and I'll hold it, and I'll go down a little bit over the top, or I'll hold it up to my eye and I'll just move the card around, but I don't actually let the magnifier touch the card. It's not necessary.
Got it. Okay, cool. Thank you. All right, Lefty, over to you. What's your L of the week, man?
My L of the week is me and Chad. We're trying to acquire some more Spencer Jones cards, and we found several different lots of Spencer Jones cards, and they sold for way more than we wanted to, and so we weren't able to kind of get into another Spencer Jones lot as we thought. And additionally, my Spencer Jones cards that are listed on eBay, the 10s and 9s that came back that I showed on the show and tell, are not moving like I thought they would anyway. And so maybe it's a little happy accident that we didn't get back into a huge lot of Spencer Jones, because we're probably going to have to wait until he gets some prospect hype for those to move pretty quickly. But I just hate holding like massive amounts of cards. So maybe
Am
it's
I
for the
rubbing off?
better.
I'm rubbing off on you, apparently.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, it's not the impatience that bothers me; it's the space that bothers me. Like, I mean, honestly, I just like this room already has too much crap in it, and so it's just like I don't need more stuff that I'm gonna hold for like I'm even thinking this is a question that I was gonna ask you guys like a couple weeks ago, but I'm considering sending everything I have to a vault just so I don't have to like have just buttloads of crap in this room, It's like, and so anyway, my L of the week is that we weren't able to get back into a bigger Spencer Jones lot. Also, Berhalter back as the United States men's national team coach after just a wild amount of speculation around him and the Reyna family. There was like blackmail that was going on, some unfair stuff on either side. They finally let go of him after the World Cup, and then they did this giant hiring committee. They brought in a bunch of different outside opinions. They even brought in a new director of soccer and personnel and all this stuff. Anyway, after everything, they brought Berhalter back as the men's national team coach. Super weird. I'm kind of for it just because I like Berhalter. I think he works well with our young team. For instance, last night when we beat Canada for the Nations League Cup final, it was the youngest team that United States have ever fielded per average age. So we had an average age of 24, and generally, I think with the exception of one player, everybody was not in the MLS. Everybody was just out there doing like they're all professionals. We have Balogun ended up being his second game of his career after he chooses to represent the United States over England. Super good acquisition for the United States men's national team. I expect his cards to be super valuable at one point, but he scores his first goal. Chris Richards, Crystal Palace defender, also scores his first goal for the United States men's national team. It was that was my L of the week is Berhalter coming back, but my win of the week is the United States team winning. But overall, my L that I'm a little bit like trying to figure out is what will this do to Gio Reyna's prices? With the Berhalter situation, Gio Reyna is an electric player, but also there was like that weird thing at the World Cup, and his parents tried to blackmail the coach and all this stuff. And then you see Gio coming back after the World Cup and scoring tons of goals with Dortmund, and he's just like celebrating by putting his finger in his ears, like he's just not paying attention to all the media hype around him. He goes ahead and dyes his hair blonde for these games, which historically used to be when a player wanted to get transferred, they would highlight themselves on the field. They would bleach their hair so that they could be seen more readily. And so he bleached his hair before this game, and it was just like, does Gio want this to be like, hey guys, I'm still here, I'm still great, I'm still worth like the hype? And then they put him in the 10 role. They put him in the middle of the field, and he plays incredibly. So now Berhalter is going to come back, but like, what's Gio going to do? I don't know. And Gio is a Dortmund player, played alongside Haaland and some of the greats that have come out of that Dortmund team, and he's still there. So I don't know. There's just a lot to be determined, and that's my L of the week. Is I wish they'd chosen a different coach ultimately.
L of the week for Craig's Cards 11 is that his Keurig bit the dust this morning. Sorry about that, Craig's Cards 11, but good to see you and your Ellie De La Cruz profile photo in the chat. Win of the week for us, Mark Samaja back in the house. Good to see you, Mark, real estate broker Samaja. He was one of the ones who's donating to the website. Don't be shy to donate to the website, everybody. And we've got Ryan Painter in the house. He's the Facebook user here. So Southern Soccer Idiot Lefty, before we get to your win of the week, says Chris Richards is an Alabama boy. We're very proud of him down here. Good to see SSI in the chat, of course. All right, Lefty, what's your dubs of the week?
Well, like I said, it was this Nations League final. It's the United States has been the only team that has ever won this tournament, and this is 3 Cup finals in a row that the USA won. So we are now the darlings of the CONCACAF, and I think Mexico's getting worse, Canada's getting better, but they just don't have the pool that we have, and so we're here to stay. Also, Christopher Morel. I am super excited about this guy. It's a guy that ended up in my dollar box. I had some Christopher Morel Sapphires last year in my Bowman Chrome box. I just have a whole box of first chromes, and every once in a while I go through there and sell them. I sold 3 Sapphires last year for I think like $30. They ended up being like $10 a piece when he came up. But I think now I even have some more that could sell for about that same price again. So he's a guy that nobody really expected to do what he's doing. And as a prospect, Christopher Morel is a guy that's fun to watch, but also not a guy that I'm looking to hold. So I'm going to sell his stuff again. That's a win for me. Women's World Cup is coming soon, and then the Nations League winning.
I'm about to list my Alyssa Thompsons, I think, over the next few weeks. Not sure it's the best time. It's not going to be the only time to list her, but I feel like it's a situation where if I don't list her now,
people are going to be looking,
yeah. If I don't list, like I'm leaving a lot of meat on the bone for everybody by listing her now. But like for me, we all know, not patient. And so if I don't list her now, I feel like, when would be the next marker for her? It could be 4 years, and I'm not waiting 4 years. We all know that. Leslie Alegria in the house. That's Shoes' better half. Her L of the week is that Mexico lost. Sorry about that.
It's a tough road ahead for this Mexico team.
We're always rooting for Leslie. She's the best. All right, Lefty, while we've got the camera on you, let's just go to who you're buying.
Yeah, who I'm buying. I think I'm going to sprinkle. Well, this wouldn't be a sprinkle. It'd be quite the big investment. But I think I'm willing to go all in on Max Verstappen. I think he's going to end up being the best driver of all time when it's all said and done. And I mean, we even have a quote this week by Hamilton saying that he is likely to pass him if Red Bull stays competitive. And so if we're looking at his prices right now, I don't think they're reflective of greatest all time. And I think it would be a long-term hold. But I think if we were able to put some money away in Max Verstappen, I don't think he's slowing down anytime soon. And he clearly has that pull to be the best driver ever. He won his 100th race on Sunday with Red Bull. He's not slowing down anytime soon. And so if there's a chance to get into a cheap, low numbered parallel, I guess cheap is a relative term, but a good deal on a low numbered parallel graded Max Verstappen, I think I'm interested in that based on what he's going to be in the long term. I also think that Indy Rodriguez is interesting to buy back into. I made a lot of money on him in the spring, and so his call up has been delayed. So I'm kind of thinking of maybe sprinkling back in. But also Marcelo Meyer, Roman Anthony is a guy that we talked about on the Baseball Card Strategy Show. Kobe Mayo is a guy that we also talked about on the Baseball Card Strategy Show. 2 guys that are heavily undervalued right now, around $35 a Bowman Chrome Auto. Still sprinkling in on O'Neal Cruz. Dr. Chad wrote a great article about that. I've been beating that drum for a while, and so I think it was a really good call from him. And then I also bought a PSA 10 of Corbin Carroll this last week because I believe he'll win Rookie of the Year and has a chance to win NL MVP, which is crazy.
That is crazy. Wow, what a debut, huh? What a first season. That's amazing.
He literally has the same numbers through 100 games, almost the same numbers as Mike Trout.
Wow, insane. That's huge. And I love your buys, Lefty, because for Verstappen, Rob Masora and I a couple weeks ago on the F1 Card Strategy Show figured out a couple of cards for him that are cheap that you can buy in December. I'm just like giving the punchline of the article that I just wrote for Sports Card Investor that's coming out this week. You got to check that article out. But
yeah, share it to me whenever it comes out.
Will do. And, for all of you listening, like I always tweet it out, no off-season card. Whenever I write something, I put it in the Facebook group too, Sports Card Strategy Facebook group. Whenever I write something for Sports Card Investor, I always, and I post it to Instagram at Sports Card Strategy. So check that out. But yeah, I'll send it over to Lefty. I'll text it to Lefty. But basically, it ends up going through about 5 or 6 cards, specifically F1 cards that you can buy at a specific time of year. Why I think that time of year is low, and why I think it was low last year and it should be low again this year, and then when you can sell it. And it's like my window. Like my window is I don't want to really be holding things for more than a few months, and this is the window. So if you're looking to get in Verstappen and like not take a huge risk, that article is going to help you out. And then I love the O'Neal Cruz thing. Chad wrote a amazing article on all of his articles are amazing, honestly, but the O'Neal Cruz play is great, and we got it up. So go check out nooffseason.com to see Chad's piece on buying O'Neal Cruz now. And all right, Chad, speaking of you and O'Neal Cruz, did we steal your thunder with talking about your article? Who are you buying?
No, I'm always buying somebody, so never have to worry about stealing something on me. So I just want to real quickly say there for investors, flippers that are always wondering when is the best time to buy. There are 2 windows. I don't care what happens in the world. I've been doing this long enough. There are 2 windows of buying opportunities. If you only bought 2 times a year, you could easily double, triple your money. They are from around the 10th of June until 4th of July, and from Thanksgiving until Christmas. There are lulls in the sports card market every year without fail. The last 25 years, even during COVID, that seemed to be the case. And right now, with the Lefty's point about the Spencer Jones not moving real great, nothing is moving real great right now. I typically sell about $1,500 to $2,000 worth of stuff on eBay every week. And in the last 2 weeks, my total sales for the last 2 weeks have been $400 and some dollars. Everything is down. This is the time of year where stuff is down. So there's a lot of buys to be had. But with my W and my L of the week, I think if you can still find Bradley Beal before he takes off, I see they're starting to climb already, especially his Prism cards, but his NBA Hoops cards might be an opportunity. Those haven't moved much yet. Bradley Beal is a good buy. I'm actually on my watch list. I've got a lot of Russell Wilson right now. I think Tim Patrick is back after being off all of last year. Javonte Williams is back after being off all of last year. You've got next to Belichick, what might be the greatest coach of our generation, Peyton taking over that team, offensive-minded. I think this is either going to be the year that Russell Wilson bounces back to his glory days, or it'll be the last year that Russell Wilson ever plays in the NFL as a starter, because you can't not succeed with Peyton and be successful. So Russell Wilson and Bradley Beal are my buys right now.
So with Russell Wilson, are you going to sell him in August for sure then, and not take the risk of that's a huge ceiling, but a really, really low floor? So is that your play, or are you going to?
Yeah, my play is that I hope to make enough in August that I can hang on to 1 or 2 of them during the season. Yep. You look at their first 6 games on their schedule, I think they could start out 4-2, 5-1. And if that happens after the abysmal year, and if he has, say, 8, 10, 12 touchdowns in the first 5 or 6 weeks, and he looks like he's back, or he has a 4 or 5 touchdown game, people are just going to flock to Russell Wilson. I could see this going very well for Russell this year.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you articulated the buying windows. Like that's exactly what's been in my mind. And we've said on the last few episodes about like it's not time to sell, like we're not really selling anybody kind of a thing. And you're hearing your experience, Chad, of how many years you've been doing this, and that those 2 buying windows of basically now or a couple weeks ago through July 4th, and then Thanksgiving through Christmas. Like those are the pockets where all of the trend lines on the charts at Market Movers are all saying to buy all the time. So and it's okay to not be moving, not be selling cards 365 days a year, especially when the prices aren't as high. It's a buying season now, like make no mistake about it. So I'm buying. I love to hear who you guys are buying. And so the audience knows I don't really know this until the show. Sometimes Lefty and I have like very recently got into sending each other a quick message about who we're saying, but we don't really like elaborate. We just kind of throw the names up. So I love hearing who Lefty's buying, who Chad's buying, just as much as the audience does. And I went to Graybo's. I bought a bunch of stuff. To me, buying was different at a card shop or a card show than it is buying online, because buying online, I think we're thinking of who we want to search for based on our sports card strategy and who we talk about on the show. And then I think like at a card shop, it's like you get hit in the face with like something that's too good to be true. So you end up buying that. So I'm going to get into that, like I said, on the sports card strategy show and tell on Thursday. But in terms of like who I'm buying with the most confidence right now, I've talked about a ton of guys in the last several episodes. So in theory, I'm still buying those guys. But for today, where my mind's at, Michael Jordan. Honestly, Michael Jordan, like specific cards that are just based on how liquid they are, like his 1988 Fleer stuff, even his 1990 Fleer, just all of it, like not every single one. Like definitely there's a lot of like upper deck crap, and there's some stuff like with him in Wizards uniforms. Like I'm not necessarily buying all Michael Jordan, but buying Michael Jordan might end up being, even though I don't really love him, like he's not Aaron Rodgers to me, but he's like almost in the Aaron Rodgers category, believe it or not. But his cards are so liquid, and you can make money off of the pattern recognition of the Michael Jordan cards, especially with the SGC, CSG crack and submit to PSA on a few of these. That's where my mind's at. And then to a lesser extent, LeBron and Kobe are in that same pocket for me. And then just looking at basketball cards right now, like Chad mentioning Bradley Beal, like the only anomaly there is with the trade hype, which is just interesting timing for Chad. But pretty much basketball cards, starting to look at other basketball cards, and the prices on them are not, they're not where they were and where they're going to be. So there's a pocket there. But Jordan, Kobe, and LeBron are my answer.
Hey, Paul, can I put a shameless plug in real quick?
Oh, 100%. Always, every shameless plug is always welcome on this show. Go for it.
All right. So I didn't mention this as the buy of the week, but look for in the next probably tomorrow. I should have it, so it'll probably hit Wednesday or Thursday. There is a article coming on Cade Cunningham and which cards to buy there as well.
Oh, Paul loves that.
That makes me so happy, because I just bought a couple more Cades at Graybo's, and I've been holding my Cades. I got a lot of Cades. So
there are some great deals on Cade right now. People, you definitely, if you're looking to make some money, should be looking at Cade, but I'm going to give you some specifics on where to target.
Okay, that's awesome. All right, in terms of who I am selling, again, not really selling that much. I'm like, personally, I'm only selling the cards that I cracked and submitted to PSA and got back the grade that I wanted. And those are Jordan, Griffey. They're guys that are timeless, that don't necessarily have lulls or spikes in the market. And the play there was to liquidate those cards as soon as I could after I got the grades that I wanted, so that I had some more funds to do some other things. So mission accomplished there. I would say, though, in general, and this guy does not have a lot of cards, but like the resurgence of Ricky Fowler is kind of my call right now, where he didn't end up winning the U.S. Open, but I believe had a top 5 finish. I was traveling yesterday, so I can't confirm that. Haven't had a chance to look, but definitely was on the leaderboard all week. And I think he was a guy that Mike LaCusta and I talked about on the golf card strategy show on Friday. And there's probably just not going to be a whole lot more opportunity to move out of Ricky Fowler. Many of you may not even have any Ricky Fowler cards, but just the thought process of, okay, this golfer had a moment over the weekend. I think that's always a great time to sell. So that's my insight on who I'm selling right now. But Lefty, over to you. Who are you selling?
Yeah, so with Dr. Chad talking about how there's a lull in the season from June to the 4th of July-ish, I think just after 4th of July is my favorite time to sell baseball cards, because the All-Star break is where people are trying to figure out who's good and who's not, who haven't been in the haven't really been paying attention. They're just looking at the All-Star team. They're trying to gauge interest by who will sell later in the season. Well, it's all a myth, because the All-Star break is a better selling opportunity than the end of the season. So I am getting myself ready to sell Josh Young, even though he's a Texas Ranger. I think he's going to win AL Rookie of the Year. He has a great opportunity to do that. Also, the Rangers are going to be in the playoffs. I think Josh Young is a sell at the All-Star break, because I think he squeaks into this All-Star team as well. He'll get a lot of hype for that, I believe. So Josh Young is a sell for me. I'm going to start posting him. Henry Davis is going to be called up today. So Henry Davis is going to reach the Pirates roster for the first time. He was a big chase in draft 21, I believe. And so there's a lot of cards out there that people have been sitting on for Henry. I expect a ton of cards to move this week for Henry Davis. He will get promoted today. So if you have any Henry Davis that you want to sell, I would put them on eBay today before today's game, and use it as a buy it now opportunity and accept any offer that is over what you paid for it. He's not that great. And Indy is behind him, and Indy's the better catcher personally. So I would say that he probably still is a major leaguer, but you want to get out of him now is what I'm saying. There is a chance that he spikes and does well, but I'm just saying, like, we're not holding for that. We're going to crystallize the 80%. And we're going to hope on the 100% that that's the reason that people are buying our 80%. Let's just put it that way. Also, I'm going to sell Drew Jones and Casey Schmidt. They're both guys that have a lot of hype in the game. And I mean, I've just said it earlier, but Corbin Carroll and O'Neill, or Corbin Carroll is going to be a guy that I'm going to sell at the All-Star break as well.
Love the All-Star break selling insight. That's another interesting one. Like, you and Chad are bringing it strong today, as you always do. Audience, listen up. Selling baseball cards at the All-Star break. Great insight by Lefty. That's something I've always thought as well, but haven't been confident enough to have it validated overall. And Lefty validating
between the All-Star break and the trade deadline is where you see a ton of baseball cards move, which is about July 14th through the end of the month.
Yep. Which could explain why maybe even, like, obviously Griffey is not active. He's a Hall of Famer, but I think even like interest in baseball cards in general, like one of my Griffey PSA 9s that was a SGC 85 sold for like $30 over typical comps. And it was over the weekend. And I just wonder if it's because we're in that season where people are just more into baseball. Anyway, Lefty, get your camera situation ready. Whatever you have to do for the upcoming.
You might as well take me off a stream for a little bit.
Break. Okay, Lefty, we'll see you in a second. Chad, gonna unmute you, and it's time for you to tell us who you're selling. Any other insights on selling?
Well, I mean, if you have the capital to hold right now, we don't have a hold section to this show. I have 1,000+ cards on my eBay store, so I'm always selling something, but I don't plan on listing anything new, other than a few things that I just got back in my latest PSA that I plan on selling, and I'll list them. But to signify one person as a sell right now, I would hold for the next 2 weeks.
Love it. Okay, we're gonna go around the horn real quick in the comments, because many of you were wondering if you submitted a question, and I said earlier in the show that we're holding the audience Q&A this week. Here's why. So Lefty, Chad, and I are going to put together an audience Q&A show, and we're going to post it later tonight. And it's going to be it's part of the Overflow show. Lefty's back. Putting together the random.org. Stay tuned. We're going to do an Overflow show, guys, which is basically, it's a premium pod. So you got to be a premium member to nooffseason.com. Get your free 30-day trial if you don't have it already. And you're going to be able to see the full audience Q&A show. Everyone who submitted a question, and I replied back and said, we will answer it on today's show. We will be doing that on the Overflow show today because of how to pick a good break is coming up next. And we're going to use all of the rest of the time on today's show talking about how to pick a good break and doing our break. And all of our premium there's 24 premium members in the break. People who have been premium members for the last couple of years. Those 24 people are in the break. And then Borusky and Shoes, who are newer premium members, but who have been listening to the show since the beginning. And they have been in the YouTube live stream commenting multiple times on every show. Very, very loyal audience members. There are many of you who are loyal audience members. We love all of you. This will not be the last time we do this. So if you're out there, Joey, cough, cough on Twitter, love you. Joey called me out on Twitter and said, hey, what about me? What about the other guys? What about the people who can't be in the YouTube live stream? Well, we had to just pick 26 people. We picked the core 26 from the beginning. We love all of you. We love all the new members, all the people who are super loyal that we didn't put in the 26. You will get yours. Trust me. There's more than enough love going around at nooffseason.com. So there will be more of what we're about to do. There will be free gifts given away to everyone who renews their membership at nooffseason.com in the form of the premium pack. And if you're missing your Q&A that you thought was going to be coming up in a minute, stay tuned. It's going to be on the Overflow show. And if you're not a premium member and can't access the Overflow show, just get a free 30-day trial. It's super easy. All right, Lefty is back with his break cam. And Lefty, before we get to you and turn it over to you, we do have one quick question from Brian Steeler 714. On off topic, was wondering who your PC guys are. He's going to his first national. So Brian Steeler 714, we're going to answer that on the Overflow show. I'm going to make sure that gets in there. I'm going to be monitoring the comments. Any other comments that come in during Lefty's break here, we will answer later today on the Overflow show. So be sure to check that out on the network. All right, Kendall, Lefty, McKee. If you're listening, everyone, on Apple and Spotify, stay listening because we're going to do a good job making this relevant on audio. But for those of you who are watching on YouTube or want to come back and watch on the YouTube channel later and you're listening right now, we're going to have some great visuals. Lefty's got the nooffseason.com break mat. He's ready to go. Kendall, it's your show, brother. Take it away.
All right, guys. Well, I'm excited to do this. This is something that I've been doing for a while. I've been breaking cards since about as a business since 2020. So I've been opening cards my whole life, but doing this as like a streamed version of what we do. This is something that I do regularly. Something that we're going to do is this is what's called a break cam. Obviously, this is going to be all the cards and everything that you'll need to see. Sometimes another thing that you'll see when we talk about, so this whole thing is trying to figure out what is a good break and what is not. This would be even called, if you were to buy into this break, for instance, this would be called a mixer. A mixer would be how it's either more than one product or a couple different variations of a same kind of product. For instance, this one is a mixer. And what we're going to do in a second is I've got the randoms pulled up. We're going to do dice rolls and everything. We're going to be very transparent with it. But what we want to do here is to show this is the reason I kept it in the bubble wrap is this was just incredible packaging by Mr. Dr. Chad. So this is how you should ship things, ladies and gentlemen. This is just good stuff right here. So I ended up cutting it. So I'm going to open it up now. But what I will say is Dr. Chad definitely ships a ton of stuff because he knows what he's doing, ladies and gentlemen. So this is going to be a mixer break. What we're going to do is we're going to take 26 different slots for the Bowman U Inception stuff. We are going to do 26 different letters of the alphabet, and every person, every premium member plus the 2 that we've added are going to get a letter of the alphabet. Plus, we are going to give 1 team per letter of the alphabet. So you're going to get a letter of the alphabet, and you're also going to get a team from NBA Hoops 1990, and then you're going to get that together. It'll be more explained here in a second when I pull up the spreadsheet. But any questions before I get into that, Mr. Paul or Dr. Chad?
For me, just great overview, Lefty. Mixed break. Not all breaks are like this, and Kendall does this all the time at Just Breaks. So make sure that you give that some love as well.
Cool. So there is Wembanyama autos or redemptions in this. There's Caitlin Clark's in this. There's a bunch of other players in this. So that's why we went with the letters to go with the different players here. I have what I pulled out of my other box right here. So you're going to see something to the effect of these Inception cards right here, which like players, I have an all football box, but I ended up getting an out of 5 parallel and 2 different autos of quarterbacks. So my box wasn't terrible, but that's what you're going to see out of this. You're going to see about 5, I think that's 6 cards that are in this. And then we're also going to blow through this at the end. Paul, what I'm going to do is probably go through the NBA hoops and then do the Bowman Inception box.
That sounds great. Good idea. Lefty, I did think of one question.
Hit me.
What would be, if Just Breaks were putting this together, what would you be charging for this break?
Well, it would have been. I don't really know what this box is valued, but I know what this box is valued. Plus, I'll just be honest. I wouldn't break this just because it's 6 cards. Yeah. And what I like to do is I don't like to send people home empty-handed. So I would largely have put this with another product that you could have like this. So this mixer is similar to what I probably would have done if we were ever going to open a Bowman Inception, because I never like people paying shipping, handling, and a card into a break and then coming home with nothing. I hate getting skunked in our breaks. So typically I send people stuff even if they get skunked. I just send them cards that I have and stuff like that. But
so you could buy that hoops box 1990 NBA Hoops Series 1 factory sealed for like between $50 and $60, $65 right now on eBay.
Okay. And then we got this box for around 200. And so, which I know they're cheaper than this now, but that's how we have it bought. So about 250 in. Shipping supplies would be about $4 to $8 a person, depending on how big of a slot that they get, usually around the $4. So then times 26. And then this is just transparency speaking from Just Breaks. We almost make no money doing what we do. We just like doing it. Mm-hmm. So basically, if you put shipping and handling along with some supplies, it's around $5 a spot. And then we usually try to make about $5 a spot. So it'd be $250 plus $5 times 27 plus $5 times 27, whatever that is. We would break that down and then divide it by 26 different spots. And then that's how much we would charge. Does that make sense? You might have to do the math for me.
Yeah, I can do the math for you. Say it one more time.
So $250, how much we have in the cards.
Yep.
And then times $5 per person. So 26 times 5.
Okay.
Times 20. And then again.
So you double that, so you go 26.
Well, one's for shipping and handling, and one's just trying to make some money off the top.
So we're at 260 without the price of the card. So the price of the cards was 250, and then the other avenue is 260. So are you saying you add those two together and then
add those two together and then divide that by 26?
Okay. So we're at 380 divided by 26. So we're at basically $14.61. So let's say $15
$380. 250 plus 260.
510. We're about $19 a slot.
Thanks.
All right. So about $20 a slot. Maybe it ended up going up to like 20, 25, but this would be a pretty cheap break. This would be a more just for fun break. So, whatnot and stuff is going to be a lot more expensive. There's a lot of people that are trying to make large margins off a product. That's not something that I end up doing. I like to make about $20 per break just to kind of like get me to the next one type thing.
Okay. So this is cool because now you start to see like, okay, at $19 a slot, you don't have to buy the NBA hoops box, which could be like $70 all in. And the Bowman U Inception, you get like a chance at one of the 7 cards that could be the Wemby. So I'm starting to, this is helpful. Sorry, Kendall. Go ahead.
No, you're good. That's great.
Real quick, I want to, for those that want to try breaking and have the luck that Paul and I have, which isn't great in breaks,
0.
do it for free. Can I tell you how to do it for free? Sign up for your PSA grading membership, and you get a free. It was $100. Now they just changed it to $120 worth of loop credit, and then take your loop credit and go buy into a break on loop for you have to spend 15, so $135. You can get a $135 spot for $15. That's how you figure out how to break or watch something like this.
Cool. More on that to come. Great insight there, Chad. All right, Lefty, let's keep it moving here.
All right, sweet. So what I'll do at this point, so we have the product here. What we like to do is there's usually 2 different cameras. You'll have like a break camera and then like a personal camera so you can see everything that's going on. A really important thing is transparency in breaking. So I like to keep as much product as I can on the screen at all times. So you never like have to wonder, oh, is he doing a bait and switch behind the camera? That unfortunately happens quite a bit. And you get roasted in the hobby for it. So if I push stuff to the side, even if I push it to there, you can see that the box is still wrapped and it's still in camera view. So as I pull this one you'll see that this might go off, but all the cards will stay relatively on the camera to some degree. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to share my screen and we're going to go to the random. And so that's how we're going to determine who gets what cards. So what we're going to do here is I have a list of the randoms of the A, B, C, D, E, F, G. We have the list of all the 26 different teams. So again, we have put the Sacramento Kings and the Milwaukee Bucks together. Then I also have a list of all the people that are in the break, 26 different people. And then I'm going to put those all in here and you're going to see who has what here in a second. So what we're going to do is we're going to roll the dice here. We're going to do 8 different randoms for the alphabet. So we're going to randomize it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right. Looks like the number 1 spot is a W and the number 6 spot is F. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this into what we have going on here. Whoops. I hate this. Okay, so that's what that is going to look like. Any questions so far? There is our, where's the V at? Victor. Boom. Slot number 12 would be Victor. Slot number 11 would be Caitlin Clark, just to give everybody perspective. Any questions so far before I move on to the next one?
I'm good. I think the audience is good.
All right, so we're going to roll the dice again. Twice. We're going to randomize this list twice. All right, and here is our team list. Let's see, where are the Bulls at? Where are the Bulls at? 2. There it is. Slot 20 has the Bulls. Let's just pull this over to here. All right, and then we're going to roll a dice our 3rd time. 6, 7, 8, 9. And then we're going to randomize this list 9 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right, so this is the names with which everybody will get profiled. So boom, here we are. So for instance, right off the bat, I see Borusky has the U and the Celtics. So it looks like a chance at a Victor will go to Jacob Lamb. A chance at a Caitlin Clark will go to Andrew Fetting. The Bulls spot will go to Samuel Allen. And then let's see. I don't know why that's in here. Let's see. We got Borusky with the U and the Celtics since he's in here. Oh My Shoes with the Seattle Supersonics and Q. Anybody else that's in the breaks that's in our lives right now? Duke Denny one time with the N in the Miami Heat. But that's how that works.
Ronnie Cycli coming to Duke. Let's go.
There it is. Any questions before I jump over to my break cam again?
I'm just excited to see all these names, these loyal audience members and subscribers to the website lining up finally. All right, let's keep it moving, Lefty.
Awesome. So we're going to go back to our break cam. If you will blow that back up.
Let's blow up the break cam.
And then I'm going to push this to the side here, and then we're going to go through the NBA hoops one time. There we go. Just a 1990s box that's being opened for the first time. Kind of something a little sad and surreal about that. But, all right, let me get my trash can ready.
10-year-old me just went through a lot of these.
10-year-old you?
Yep.
Woo!
10 or 11-year-old.
Wow. So first thing I noticed right off the bat is this box is completely full with cards. They don't do that anymore. They give you like space for air. They sell you a bunch of air now, but this is completely full, chuck full to the brim, which probably doesn't leave a whole lot of room for if these cards were to ever be damaged. So there's the empty box. I always like to show the empty box. There's nothing left. So we'll put this back over here.
How's it smell? Smell nice?
Let me see. No, it does not smell nice.
Sniffing the case like shoes.
Smells nice and musty. All right, so everybody can see these 4 stacks. We're just going to go through them one by one. And let me reposition just a little bit so I can get a little bit better of a
logo. Looks good, doesn't it?
Oh, dude, this break footage. Holy cow. All right, so here we go. First thing I notice off the bat is that the seam is on the wrong side of what normally it is. So that's gonna prevent me from going quickly. All right. Markiplier, bullets. Charles Barkley, straight off the bat. NBA hoops. Byron Scott. Larry, I have no idea. You're gonna have to help me with this
Larry
one.
Kristowiak.
There we go. Larry Kristowiak. We have a checklist card. Kurt Rambis, Phoenix Suns logo, looking sick. James Edwards, Casey Jones. There's Oh My Shoes going to the Supersonics. We got a Sean Kemp rookie. There we go. Darrell Walker, Larry Bird All-Star card. We got Chris Ford, John Long, Grant Long, and then a backwards Joe Dumars.
John Long was a good buddy of mine. We worked together. He was a radio announcer for the Pistons. We used to hang out all the time. Good dude.
Well, maybe they'll let you have this card.
I won't ask you who has the Pistons because then you'd throw you off. Come back to that later.
Yeah, I can look it up in a second. Scott Brooks, David Robinson rookie card. That's kind of nice. Pat Riley rookie card. Let's go. This is coach of the year. Fred Roberts, Reggie Theis.
Reggie Theus was on a Saturday morning TV show back in the day.
Mark Akers, Dale Ellis, Derek McKee, which is different way of spelling it. Phil Jackson, let's go. We got a Reggie Miller All-Star card. Johnny Moore, Joe Wolf, Mark
McNamara. He's a nobody.
All right.
The worm.
And then a Dennis Rodman, baby. Defensive Player of the Year. I love Dennis Rodman.
Whoever had the Pistons will have some fun with this. They had a good, that was a championship year for the Detroit Pistons. Detroit basketball.
Garland, Sam Bowie, Kelly Tripucka, Jack Sikma, Matty
Gukas,
Kevin Duckworth, Nick Anderson rookie card, Olden Polynice,
the Big O,
Greg Kite, Johnny Dawkins, Charles Barkley All-Star card, Willie Anderson. We got a Stuart Gray, AC Green, and Isaiah Thomas. Always cool to see.
Rusty Emigart.
Well, IT
in the chat says, did he say smells rusty?
I said smells musty, but it also does smell rusty if I was ever to imagine what a rusty smells like.
Good to see you, Rusty. Put Reggie Miller on his dartboard, I'm guessing. All right.
There's your guy.
Let's go. That's the hit. That's what everybody wants. Forget the Jordans. Magic MVP, baby.
Kevin Gamble, Dan something.
Dan Marley, Central Michigan University.
Jerome Kersey, Jeff Grayer, Brad Luhas, Danny Ainge, Horace Grant, AC Green All-Star card, Frank Brakowski, Larry Brown,
Worked with Larry Brown.
Drew, and John
John
Saley.
Sally, the Spider. Great Pistons team. Lefty, you want me to do this? You want to just go through the cards and I'll say who the players are?
Hey,
have all the backward cards been Detroit Pistons so far?
Pretty much. I think all of them so far.
Liddell Eccles, nobody. Vladi Divac. Good rookie card there. Glenn Rice. Boo, U of M. Great player, though. Sam Perkins. Little lefty three-point shooter. Mark West. Kenny Battle, rookie.
3 rookie cards.
William Bedford, bench warmer, 7-footer for Detroit. Nate McMillan, former coach of the Atlanta Hawks. Vinny Del Negro. Craig Hodges, 3-point champion from back. There we go, Borusky. Robert Parrish. You got a chief. Steve Alford. Vernon Maxwell, pretty underrated player. Rick Adelman, great coach. The coach cards are pretty cool. Borusky got a Larry Bird. How's it look? PSA 10, perhaps?
Now, the one other way is he's breaking this next pack is when you do buy into breaks, you can buy actual packs instead of cards. That would have been a great pack. 3 rookies and a bird.
Yeah, good point, Chad. Mike Jaminski next. Reggie Miller, put him on the dartboard. Jim Paxson. Terry Catledge, this is a bad pack. Cotton Fitzsimmons. Look at this horrible pack. Chuck Daly. Great. I love Chuck Daly. Johnny Newman. This is a horrible pack. You got like 8 coaches in the pack. I don't even know who Buck Johnson is. Kevin McHale. Ed Pinkney. Wow, that pack sucks. Stu Jackson. Drazen Petrovic. I rebounded for him when I was a ball boy for 1 day for the Pistons. That dude did not miss. Unfortunately, died in a car crash. Very tragic. Drazen Petrovic rookie. That actually used to be worth something a few years ago. Not sure if it still is.
That was a bad pack.
Yeah. So what I just said for the last one, take that back on that pack. That would have been an awful pack.
Yeah. Brian Steeler 714. Are you a U of M fan? I love you still, even though you're a U of M fan. Yeah, Drazen didn't miss. Benoit Benjamin, Charles Oakley, fun player.
You guys remember when he got kicked out of the Knicks game a couple years ago?
Yeah, that's right.
Patrick
Ewing, who's got the Knicks? This is why we combine the Bucks. Horrible. Bill Wennington, Jeff Hornacek, good 3-point shooter. Sidney Lowe, better coach than he was a player. Dave Corzine. Actually, Sidney Lowe, Chad, you might remember this. He was on that Houston Cougars team that he was on the team that beat the Houston Cougars, the team that beat Phi Slamma Jamma. NC State, Kiki Vandeweghe. Sorry, Lefty, go ahead. Randy Allen, Mitchell Wiggins, another horrible pack. There's a lot of bad players in this set. Scottie Pippen, there we go. Bulls, Derek Smith, Danny Young, Michael Thompson, horrible pack. Xavier McDaniel. Great name, though. Xavier, Chad's son.
Let's go.
See, I could be the breaker for this era of junk wax cards because I just happen to know this set very well. But Ken Norman, don't know who you are. Chris Mullen, who was at the National last year. Sean Elliott, God, we traded Dennis Rodman for him. Sean Elliott, rookie. That's not a bad card. Derek Harper. Greg Grant, Tony Campbell, horrible pack. Bill Lambier was my former boss. Paul McKeskey, God. Dick Motta, Scott Hastings, bench warmer, Pistons. Isaiah, let's go whoever has the Pistons. Tom Garrick, Bob Thornton, Sarunas Marshalunas, rookie. Not a bad rookie card there.
Jeez, that's a mouthful.
You could play.
Lefty, I think you're happy Paul was doing the names on that pack there.
Yeah, Sarunas Marshalunas.
Sarunas Marshalunas, baby. This is my era, my set. Chad just happened to have it. We didn't even know this was going to be the box until recently.
I don't like how these packets are. They're like rubbery.
I'm with Cleo Cards. Loves the junk wax era. So many great. We are aligned, Cleo. Totally aligned.
This seems to be a Pistons box.
Reggie Lewis was a great player, died tragically. Mark Price, good player. Rony Cycli, I said Duke would get a Rony Cycli. I was right. Most improved player, Joe Klein. There's the Jordan. Whoever had the Magic, that's a good card. That's the Sam Vincent Jordan.
Number
Sleeve it up.
12.
Sleeve it up, Lefty. Randy
All right,
Brewer. I'm messing with you, but that is one that's definitely a hit out of this box because that could be can't sell.
That actually does sell pretty well.
Yeah.
There you go. First Jordan.
Brian Steeler 1-4 never apologize about the language. We're all adults here. It's totally fine. You're a good guy. Randy Brewer. Don't know who you are. Del Harris. Claim to fame, coached the Lakers. Looks like Leslie Nielsen. John Williams. Dennis Hobson. This is another horrible pack. Gene Littles. Tom Chambers. Maybe one of the worst all-stars of all time. Reggie Williams. Caldwell Jones. Caldwell Jones was also on that NC State team with Sidney Lowe. Todd Murphy. Akeem the Dream.
Akeem the Dream.
Back when they didn't spell his name correctly.
Wasn't a lot of cultural sensitivity back then.
No, there was not. It's like, let's just spell it phonetically, which is not sensitive.
Fat Lever.
Name is, give me his real name, Lefty. I'll give you 5 seconds. Real name of Fat Lever.
No idea.
Lafayette Fat Lever, baby. All right, keep it moving.
Right.
Yeah, Borusky knows what I'm talking about with the NC State team. Derek Wittenberg. Cliff Robinson worked with him at the Pistons. Great player. We missed Mitch Richmond. He was good. He was at the National last year. Harold Presley. Scott Skiles, Michigan State University, 30 assists in a game. Tyrone Corbin. Bobby Hansen. Chucky Brown, rookie. Jeff Malone.
Dang,
could do better in terms of packs. Dick Versace. David Robinson was one of my favorite players back then. Doug Moe. Tellis Frank. Gerald Henderson. Benchwarmer Pistons. Danny Manning, number 1 overall pick. 1988, I think. As Lefty is opening up the packs.
So we just have a fake Jordan so far.
Yeah, it's a good card, though. We're looking for the Menendez brothers, too, remember. That's another hit. Yeah. David Rivers.
That guy kind of looks like Joel Embiid.
A little bit, yeah. A little resemblance there. Michael Adams. J.R. Reed, horrible pack so far. Randy Whitman. I mean, this is the worst pack. Moses Malone, but like not a relevant player at that point in his career. Jerry Reynolds. Jerry Sloan. There may not be
so young. I've never seen him with black hair.
Yeah. The coach cards are cool. Lenny Wilkins was a great coach. John Paxson. This is Chad. This is the worst pack of any sports cards I've ever seen in my life. Ricky Green. Okay, Clyde Drexler saved us. We finally got somebody. Jack Haley. Derek Shivas. Eddie Lee Wilkins. This is horrible. Bernard King. Okay, wow.
That was a bad one.
That's the worst pack. If I went to the card shop as a kid, 10-year-old Paul would be crying if he got that pack. Just absolutely bawling. Ralph Sampson.
Loved Ralph Sampson as a kid.
Mark Eaton. Yeah, he was good. KJ, Kevin Johnson. He was legit. LaSalle Thompson. John Concack. Horrible. Rod Higgins. Thurl Bailey. He was on the team too. NC State. This NC State team is all over this box.
Steve Kerr. What a 3-point stance, guys. Ready to dribble, drive, or shoot at all times.
So pre-Bulls, Steve Kerr, Cavs, Bill Cartwright, Greg Dreiling, John Stockton. Never really loved Stockton. Great player, though. Todd Lichty. Danny Ferry, one of the biggest underachieving NBA players of all time. Danny Ferry, rookie. Scott Roth.
What a mullet. Holy moly.
Lefty, you should look like Scott Roth for the National this year.
Yeah, maybe.
Stacy King. Okay. This is fun.
In 1990, that Danny Ferry card was one of the chase cards. That thing,
yes,
you'd have spent $10 to $15 to buy that card back in 1990.
Yep, I remember that. He was a big deal coming to the NBA finally. Blair Rasmussen, John Stockton, Clyde Drexler. We got some base of these Hall of Famers. James Donaldson, not Hall of Famer. John Battle, Jim Peterson. Who are you?
There it is.
Oh, the Menendez brothers.
There it is.
That's another sleever. Sleeve them up. The murderers. The convicted murderers of their own parents. What a crazy story. Crazy, crazy story. All right. Wes Unseld, legendary coach. Otis Thorpe played a little bit for the Pistons. Detlef Schrempf. Lefty, would you have nailed that pronunciation?
I would have actually, because I used to play as Detlef Schrempf on my 2K rosters for all-time teams.
Joe Dumars. Roy Hinson. Jeff Martin, rookie. Don't know who you are. Orlando Woolridge. Another big O. And
Dominic Wilkins.
Human highlight reel Dominique. Cool card. Cool card.
When did Manute Bowl play?
He played in this era. He I think he's in this set. 100% in this set. Not sure exactly when he retired. R.I.P. Manute Bowl. Joe Barry Carroll. Karl Malone. Met him at the 2003 WNBA final game. Terry Porter. Frank Cornett, rookie. Sidney Green. A little chat between Chuck Daly and Pat Riley card down in Miami for the All-Star game. Cool card.
Horribly off-centered, but cool card.
Rick Smits. Will Perdue. Oh my God. At my bachelor party, we ran into Will Perdue in Chicago.
Let's go. That's the bull you want to run into. Let's go.
That's right. That's right. Larry Smith, Vern Fleming, KJ Kevin Johnson, All-Star card, Derek Gervin, rookie. Gary Grant, I think he played at U of M too. Ron Rothstein, great guy. Knew him really well. His son played on my dad's varsity basketball team. Spud Webb, met him. He was playing Tetris when I met him. And that was back during, basically during that season.
All right, Paul, who's taller, you or Spud?
That's close, dude. That has got to be so close.
I'm shorter than Spud Webb. I think he's listed. If he's the height that he's listed at, 5'7", I'm 5'6". So Spud Webb. Wayne Cooper. James
Was he
Worthy.
Standing when you were playing?
No, he was not. He was sitting down. I was
Who's
a kid.
taller, Spud or Muggsy?
Spud's taller than Muggsy. I'm taller than Muggsy. He's 5'3".
We got him listed at 5'3" here. We got the Spud Webb listed at 5'7". Dang, he's on top of it, ladies and gentlemen. He knows his short kings.
This is a little bit unfair because this was my life. And then I worked in the NBA and wrote media guides about these people. So I still have the data in my head. Chris Mullen, some checklists. Who gets the checklist, Lefty?
You do. I don't know.
I think whoever had the Bucks and the Kings should get the checklist. Hopefully they have a good letter of the alphabet. Sedale Threet, Richard Anderson. Some of these guys I'm not naming. Mike Sand. This is a horrible pack. Don Chaney coached the Pistons for a minute. Purvis Short. This rivals the other worst pack we've ever had. This is god awful. Kevin Edwards, Mike Schmirk, Alexander Volkov.
Smrek.
Worst. We've had the two worst packs I've ever seen in my life.
I had a Muggsy Bogues in it.
Good thing people would have only paid $19 to get in this break. But everybody would have got some fun cards, though. Rod Strickland. Some pop culture relevance in a Wu-Tang song. Wayman Tisdale. Tom Chambers. Greg Anderson. Tom Hammonds. Lafayette. See? Lafayette.
Hey, there it is. Fat lever.
Card Lafayette on another. Dave Hoppin. Don't know who that is. Steve Johnson. Robert Reed. The Hornets team sucks because they were an expansion team. They just had nobody. Blue Edwards. Eric Floyd. David Wingate. Winston Bennett. Wow. No idea. Tom Tolbert. And Pooh Richardson. I liked Pooh. Pooh Richardson, rookie. Minnesota Timberwolves and Charlotte Hornets. Expansion team.
Speaking of Charlotte, Michael Jordan over the weekend sold his majority stake in the Hornets.
We were talking about that at Graybo's. That's a flip. That's a win of the week for Jordan. Big time flip of the Hornets. Charles Jones, Terry Cummings, Chuck Person out of Auburn University. Adrian Dantley traded him for Mark Aguirre and then won the NBA championship. Pistons, Patrick Ewing. Akeem Olajuwon spelled wrong again. All-star card. Randolph Keys. Horrible up-down centering. Worst up-down centering we've seen today. Michael Cage. Armand Gilliam. God, another bad pack. Delaney Rudd, rookie. You like the rookie logos in this, though? That's kind of cool.
I do like it.
Yeah, kind of cool. Who's that guy?
All-star
Who's
cards.
that guy? Irvin Magic Johnson, All-Star MVP. People don't know how good he actually
Let's go. This guy looks like a killer.
Ooey Blob.
Ooey Blob.
Best name in the set. Ooey
Best
Blob.
name.
And Sarunas Marshall-Lunas. John Morton, John Sunvold, Ricky Pierce. All right.
3 All-Stars in that one.
As
Interesting.
lefties opening up the next pack, Borusky saw Wu-Tang in 1996. Oh, the Rage Against the Machine tour. Yeah, Wu-Tang got kicked off that tour because then none of the members would all show up on the stage at one time, so they kicked them off. Harvey Grant, Horace's brother. Rick Mahorn, a good friend of mine. Got some great stories about Rick Mahorn. Buck Williams, Roy Tarpley, Dennis the Worm Rodman, All-Star card. Eddie Johnson, Mark Aguirre, Paul Pressey, Vinny the Microwave Johnson, Pistons best team in this set. Ron Anderson. We haven't had a Jordan yet, other than the Sam Vincent. Dominique Wilkins, All-Star card. Richie Adubato. I got a funny story about Richie Adubato too. Sam Mitchell, rookie. Billy Thompson, Brian Shaw. I always forget he was started his career with the Celtics, ended with the Lakers. Great career.
So one thing I'm noticing, guys, is the corners on these are tough.
Oh, they're not razor sharp?
No. Some of them. Like this one looks fine.
Ralph Sampson, Karl Malone, Clyde Drexler, Frank Cornett, John Battle. Another, doubles of that card. Chuck and Pat.
What team are they on?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. So Daly's the Pistons and Riley's the Lakers in that set. So I don't know.
One will go to each right now.
There you go. Brad Davis, Wes Unseld, Bill Cartwright, Vern Fleming, Joe Dumars, Derek Gervin, Gary Grant, Orlando Woolridge again, and Spud Webb again. Yeah, Lefty, good insight there as I just rattle off names. So when you get a card like that, what would you do if there was only one of those cards?
The way that we do it at Wild Cards or at Just Breaks is that we random off from the list of the 2 people at the end, and then we would include that into our Twitter DMs.
All right. Let's fly through a little bit faster because let's just kind of keep going and have some chat around, we'll stop if we get a big card, but another will produce huge card. Chad, add some color here. What are we missing about this for the audience here? What do you think?
Well, Lefty just mentioned the edges on here. Not only with the silver borders and the gold borders are they hard to grade, because the reason that they have so much air in the boxes nowadays is because back in the day when there was no air at all, the corners were very tough to get perfect. So so this is a double-edged sword. You've got silver and gold borders, and then you've got edges that were touching the outsides of the boxes. This box, the box was not beat up at all, but you do end up getting some cards that are dinged corners.
Is there any way to tell how many boxes of these they produced and or maybe still out there? It's kind of mind-boggling to me that you can still go get sealed boxes of 1990 NBA hoops for like $50 to $65.
Well, today's formula, they use the numbered cards, and there weren't any numbered cards back in the day. And this was right in the peak of the junk wax. So I've seen estimates that there were about 250,000 cases. There's 12 boxes to a case, so over 1 million boxes of these cards were produced. Which is why they're not several $100s for a 30-year-old box. You can get them for $50-$60 because you basically have a handful of cards in there that you're chasing. The Sean Kemp rookie is probably our best pull so far.
And probably and the Menendez brothers
along with the Mendez and the I'm talking other than the
Vincent,
the Sam Vincent and the Mendez. The Sean Kemp then is right there as well.
So Chad, as you're on all of the apps, whatnot, Loop, etc., Drip, Are you seeing, and then on social media and stuff, do you see vintage breaks? Like, this isn't like vintage, but this is 1990. So we're talking 30 plus years
This
ago.
is vintage, Paul.
This is vintage. Okay.
This is vintage. Yeah. I actually, yesterday we got home and I grilled out for Father's Day yesterday. And while I was grilling out, in between grilling out, I sit there and I watch Whatnot or Loop just for something to do as I'm watching the meat on the grill. And I actually watched, I Googled specifically hoops breaks, and there was a guy doing a 4-box Series 1 NBA hoops break yesterday on Whatnot. So I thought that was kind of fun. You don't see it very often though, because there's not. I'm sure that it'd be hard to fill, Lefty. Would you agree? Because it's
absolutely. People are only really wanting Bulls, Knicks.
So what this break was yesterday, it was a 4-box break, and they sold the towers. And what I mean by towers is you saw when Lefty opened up that box, there were four
like this.
4 towers. That's a stack or a tower. So so there was 4 to a box. They did 4 boxes, so there were 16. They sold 16 spots, and you got I think it's 9 cards to a stack. So you'd get, or 9 packs. So they sold 16 spots, and you got 1 whole sleeve of cards, and that's how they sold that breakout.
Yeah, I could see how that would be super hard to fill because people want the new stuff. All right, so Shoes had the Sonics, and he's got 2 Kemp rookies. Shoes, congratulations. Shoes is in the chat, and he asked, Chad, how do I claim my Loop credit? I technically have $10 plus the 100 from PSA. Do I need to buy something first? So I was actually looking that up.
Yes, you have to spend $15 before they will give you your Loop credit. So go buy something. If you want to redeem the $10 one, go buy a $25 something. It'll cost you your $15, and then the $10 will come off automatically once you make your first purchase. Then your credits come off until your credits are gone.
And you get where do you find your code from PSA? Is that in your account somewhere? Oh, we lost Lefty.
Yeah, they email it to you.
They email it to you. Okay. Do you have to email them to say email it to me?
No, when you sign up, they automatically send it to you.
Okay, cool. Well, we lost Lefty for a little bit, so he's coming back in. So Mark says Loop has a lot of PYT case breaks. How do you identify, 1, a worthwhile product to participate in, and 2, how to calculate how much you should pay for Team X? This is a great question. I'm glad that Mark came through with this question. Chad, you wanna take this one?
We good, guys?
Yeah, we're good. I think Lefty's better to answer that question.
Okay, cool.
I'm sorry, Lefty, I didn't hear the question.
Okay, so Mark Samaja in the chat. Loop has a lot of PYT case breaks, so that's pick your team.
Pick your team case breaks.
How do you identify, number 1, a worthwhile product to participate in, and 2, how to calculate how much you should pay for Team X?
That's a great question. Great question, Mark. I think this is something that is very hard to determine on any of these sites that people are trying to make income by being breakers like Loop or Whatnot or something like that. And what I have generally found is that most of the time, the break slots are overpriced most of the time, because the breaks that I buy into the most are breaks of products that are too expensive or too hard to find initially. So if you are trying to get into a product that's already readily available, I would say it's probably not worth getting into as a break. For instance, like if you can go to the store and get, like, for instance, this 1990s set or something like that, if you can buy it for $50, I would rather spend my money doing that rather than taking a chance on on a tower and getting a Michael Jordan or something like that. So what I would do for a pick your team is I would go and find what I do for Bowman specifically. This is just an example I'll use for Bowman, is go to the team slot and go for a Bowman Chrome auto of the chase in that set. So for instance, if you were to go find a spot for Drew Jones, go find his price of what his base auto is going to sell for, or around that. And if you can get a break slot for 1 or 2, depending on how many boxes you're going through, base cards, then that would be what I would pay for the price of admission for the break. So for instance, if his card is going for 150 Bowman Chrome Auto Raw, $150, and you are breaking a case of it, then I would be willing to spend at least $300 or $400 on the Diamondbacks for the chance to getting a couple at least base Bowman Chrome autos of his set. So what I would do is take the lead chase card, for instance, take Kemp. If you're going for a chase of the Sonics in this card, see what this card is worth. And then if you're breaking a case of it, you expect to getting at least 1 or 2 per box, and then average that out over the price and see if it's over or underpriced.
Okay. That is great insight. And like one of the things I wanted to make sure we covered. So thanks, Mark, for asking, and Lefty, great answer. So Lefty, as you're ripping these packs, my follow-up to that is, that's a case break of the same product, and and that's under the assumption you're going to get more than one. How often do you get more than one of that chase card?
I'd say, well, it depends on the set, depends on the card, depends on the player, it's just a bunch of things depending. But I would say if you're going through a case, I would expect 1 and then a chance at 2.
Okay, so if that is a sports card strategy for buying into a break, then, because what you're doing is calculating.
But for instance, like when I'm talking about you going into a break is because if a product's not available. So if you're going through, Bowman draft for the first time, then you're going to sell a Bowman Chrome Auto Raw of Drew Jones instantly for maybe $200-$300 because you're going to be one of the first people to get it up on eBay. So I'm talking about scarcity is where you should buy into breaks.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense, because my other follow-up question is like, why wouldn't I just go buy the card and make sure that I get one of the card for the buy-in of the break? But I guess if you can't necessarily find a listing of the card, and you can't find a listing of the hobby box, or they're just overpriced versus what the buy-in of the break is, and you really want the card. Like Lefty, I remember you talking about trying to get Jordan Lawler a couple of years ago. And that was your strategy for that, right? Like you were buying into breaks to try to get Jordan Lawler, and you got at least one. I mean, you might have gotten more.
I got a refractor auto. Yeah. I actually got out of it exactly what I put into it. I bid $280 on an Arizona Diamondbacks spot, which was the largest break spot I've ever paid for. And I got $300 for my PSA 9, refractor auto.
So would you guys say, Lefty and Chad, that the buying into a pick your team break strategy sort of mirrors bidding on a single in a way?
You could look at it that way, I think.
Yeah, I think the other thing that your breaks are not necessarily a way that they're not investments. They're entertainment. So I think a lot of people that buy into breaks do it for the entertainment value. It's fun. It's exciting. You're ready to light $50 on fire. So you go buy a $50 spot and hope for the best.
Yeah.
It's entertainment. It's no different.
Sam Vincent out, Lefty. Sorry, Chad.
It's really no different than, going out to eat for dinner. When you're done, you got nothing left. But that's kind of how I look at breaks. Is it's a fun. There's an entertainment value. And on the second thing, I've broken a lot of these 90 Series 1. I've never seen a box with less than 2 Jordans in it. This is unbelievable.
We're down to our last 3 packs. No Jordans yet, other than the Sam Vincent card. We got 2 of the Sam Vincent cards. So whoever has the Orlando Magic, we'll do a recap here in a second of who has
Larry Nance. So Larry Nance Jr.'s father. One of my friends took Larry Nance Jr. to prom, in case you're wondering.
Oh wow, that's interesting.
Del Curry. We got 2 fathers.
That's dad.
I would, if I had bought this box, I would be ticked right now.
Hey, Jordan, we got a Jordan.
We got one.
All-star. Yes. Right as Chad was getting mad. I've never seen Chad.
Oh!
Jordan. Yes. Let's go.
There's funny. Your 2 Jordans in one pack.
For those of you who are listening on Apple and Spotify, as we were talking and we were not naming players, it was because they were all doubles and crap. And then Chad makes the comment and we get Sam Vincent Jordan and 2 other Jordans, I believe, in the same pack.
Yeah, I mean, that is why people buy into breaks. That exact pack. If somebody had bought 1 pack out of this whole box and that was their pack, they'd have gotten 3 Jordans. I mean, that's crazy.
Manute Bol, there you go, Lefty. There's your guy.
I didn't even know he was on the Warriors.
Yeah, I think he played for almost every NBA team. He was Mike Woodson, former assistant coach of the Detroit Pistons and the head coach of somewhere in college, Indiana University. Great guy.
I can't believe we had to wait till almost the very end to get 1 MJ sighting.
Yeah, I mean, you got the 2 MJ Sam Vincent cards and then 2.
This card is so much thinner than everything else. I don't know why.
Antoine Card. Tim Hardaway, rookie. He was at the National with Mitch Richmond and Chris Mullin last year. Dana Barros, rookie. Kevin Willis. This is our last pack. Eric Lechner.
Maurice Cheeks, the pride of West Texas A&M. Let's go.
So hyped.
I am lit about Maurice Cheeks, ladies and gentlemen.
Lefty's going to make an offer to whoever.
I will.
50-cent offer for the Maurice Cheeks.
Oh, that Bulls got me expectant, but BJ Armstrong.
My dad coached against BJ Armstrong when BJ Armstrong was in high school.
All right, so that's it for the NBA box. Here's our hits. We got another Shawn Kemp rookie card in here. So 2 Shawn Kemp rookie cards, 2 Sam Vincents with Michael Jordan wearing a number 12 jersey. We got Michael Jordan All-Star. Looks to be fairly well centered. Pretty good corners.
Samuel Allen, I think, got the Bulls, if I remember correctly.
Let's see. We got Samuel Allen has the Bulls. The Pistons is Michael Brodier Jr.
Yeah, let's go, Michael.
And then Mark Jackson with the Menendez brothers in the background. Pretty cool card.
Who had the Knicks?
Let's see. The Knicks are Joshua Ryu.
Cool. All right. Good stuff, guys. So Lefty's going to, coming up now, he's going to get the Bowman U Inception ready. And he's going to mail me. I assume you're just going to sort these out by team, put a little sticker as to who has each team on a team bag or something for me, Lefty. Mail them to me. And then I'm going to put them in the nooffseason.com Graybos Sports Card Strategy Show premium pack box. The first people to get the premium packs are going to be the people in this break. And here you go. Right here. Trying to hold it up so you can see it. There we go. nooffseason.com premium pack. Lefty's going to send me the cards. They're going to go in here. I'm going to ship them out as soon as I get them.
I'm not sending anything. Just kidding.
Lefty's going to steal the Mo Cheeks.
The Maurice Cheeks is mine.
Backyard Lefty.
Jankiest sports card ever to get stolen out of a break.
That was a good one, Chad.
Face.
We got the card dandruff that I always like to try to wipe off.
All right, guys. So while you're doing that, Lefty, and you're setting up Inception, back to Chad's tip on if you haven't gotten into a break yet, the best way to do it is to use $100 loop credit from PSA. So I found mine, Shoes, and everybody else out there listening. I use Gmail for all of my emails, but every email these days has a search functionality. Search your $100 loop credit is here. That is the subject line of the email from PSA. And if you're the Collectors Club member that I am, you will see an email that says, thank you for joining PSA's Collectors Club. Here is your $100 loop credit and a button to claim your loop credit. Then that seems to be one step. And then you need to create a loop account, spend what, $15 you said, Chad? And then redeem your credit after that. Something like 10 or $15.
Yep.
Sweet.
All right. Whoop. Sorry.
Lefty is
all right. We will use.
Why do people use a big freaking X-Acto knife to is that what that thing's called? To just, it's like a sheet of plastic and people use this big knife. When did that become the thing?
Oh, I don't know. That's just what I have to open all my packages.
That's Crocodile Dundee. That ain't a knife. That's a knife.
That's a knife.
All right.
How was that?
That was really
all right.
good.
So this is what we're going to do. We're just going to open up this box, and immediately there's going to be a box laid in here. We will walk through exactly what we talked about during the last one. You saw how these cards have spacers. So if something were to be dropped or something and it gets hit in the corner, luckily you could potentially still have a good value of cards in here. So, dude, I love me some Mo Cheeks. Mo Cheeks, baby. If you guys watch my show and tell, I have a Maurice Cheeks that I pulled out of a 1970s box, I think, and it is a Maurice Cheeks assist leaders card. Anyway, Maurice Cheeks went to my university, so. All right, so this is the Inception box. I'm going to hide the cards in it with a Erling Haaland, as everyone loves. So what we're going to do here is we're going to open this like so. We're going to remove it. What I like to do is I like to hold it not on the corners here, so I can hold it in the middle, and then I pull it. You guys probably have seen me do this now because I just went through like 30 packs, but I pull it away so it's not pulling any edges, and then I lift. What I'm going to do here is lift and put this in here, and then I lift and pull this away so that no corners can potentially get dinged. So
is that why they do that?
That's what I do. All right, so this is how we're going to do this. I'm going to remove one card at a time. So first card is a Tiger Campbell. Tiger Campbell actually probably has a pretty good NBA career coming in front of him. Nice player for the UCLA team. I think he went back to UCLA this year. Tiger Campbell, first one. At least we have some basketball players. That's looking hopeful. Looking hopeful.
And that's just a base card, right? So this
is a base, but it's also, this would be their first card because you see this little one right here and it says first initiation. So it's an initiation card. Inception initiation. So this card will go to let's see. Ryan King. Ryan King.
Good work. Ryan King got a card.
All right, we got a Anthony Black, Arkansas.
Ooh, he can play.
Yeah, he can play too. So two good players so far. So that's nice. We got Anthony Black going to Arkansas, and that is going to go to where's the A? We got Philadelphia 76ers with the A, Eric Crosey.
Love it. The Tiger Campbell card is available for $4.49. Buy it now on eBay.
All right. Look at this. We got a Clayton Tune, a Houston quarterback for an initiation card. So we've already got a split series in here. So it looks like our autos are coming next, I believe. Let's see how many cards we got. Oh, we got 3. So we should have a parallel and 2 autos left.
Nice. Okay. The Anthony Black is selling for $14.99 right now on eBay.
Oh, nice.
Not sold listing, but listed for sale. Just clarifying.
All right. Ready?
Ready.
We got a Jaden Shunt or shoot.
Mm-hmm.
Booty card.
Duke, yeah. Like nothing exciting yet. The exciting ones.
All right, which means this, I think that means that the one of our autos is going to be a parallel, which is nice. All right. Kenny McIntosh.
Kenny McIntosh, Georgia. Is that just a regular base auto?
Well, yeah, looks like it. Alrighty. And I can tell you it is not a Victor Wembanyama in our pack.
That is not a big card, everybody. You can get that one for $15 on eBay right now if you want it.
All right.
So far, we're getting crushed like I got crushed on this.
We've got a Blake Corum out of 199. So
I asked a buddy of mine who works in U of M's athletic department about Blake Corum because I pulled this card in mine as well. And he just kind of laughed. So not much going on with Blake Corum from the inside track of the U of M athletic.
And then our last card of the night is An auto of KJ Jefferson.
I think we got absolutely slaughtered, guys. Just absolutely slaughtered. This one, like,
uniquely though, the K slot, which goes to the Cleveland Cavaliers and Kevin
Kevin
Leahy, he got both autographs because they both start with K.
Wow, Kevin cleaned up. So you got a Kevin starts with the K, and he got Kenny, and he got KJ, and he got Mark Price and Larry Nance. All right, so a little bit anticlimactic on our Bowman U Inception, but 7 cards, worth a shot at the Wembanyama and the Caitlin Clark. There's some other big names in this set. We just did not get them, like not even close. So, but it was fun.
I think this is the most expensive card we pulled.
Anthony Black, yeah. So that's Shoes' guy. So I don't think Shoes was not letter A. Who was letter A?
Letter A was Eric Kraus.
Nice.
I think that this was absolutely a perfect break in the sense that this is what can happen.
True.
Yeah, elaborate. Chad, you've done this quite a bit. Like, what's the feeling on when this happens? Like, what do you do?
First of all, I don't do a ton of breaks. They're fun. They're exciting. The juices get flowing, and especially with brand new product, that's where the excitement comes. You can't go buy one yet, as Lefty mentioned, so a box might be selling for, a Bowman Sapphire box, right? Lefty, what do those go for right now? $600 on the open market.
Mm-hmm.
You could have got one for $300 if you buy pre. That might be something that you go chase and you do a break because you can't find one, and if you do, they're 100% markup from when they came out. But you have to, whatever you spend on that slot, you have to be okay with getting nothing in return, because otherwise you're going to want to go find a water tower to jump off of, because this type of stuff happens more often than finding 6 Jordans or the Victor card or something of that nature. It's that onesie twosies that keep you coming back to the breaks, but just be prepared and ready to get nothing in return and do it as fun. Don't do it as an investment.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, Mark Smaja in the comments also says he thinks case breaks are probably better for the reasons that Chad just kind of stated. Borusky agrees, and Chad, great context there. I mean, I think it needs to be for fun, for entertainment. This is clearly not something that is going to make you money. And like, I was at Graybo's this weekend, and they had a box of Optic 2022 Optic football, and they had 2 hits in the same box, and it was I'm not saying these are case hits, but they had 2 big cards pulled out of the same box. One was a Desmond Ritter rated rookie auto out of, I believe, 199, and then another was Brock Purdy out of like 25 black. And so the Purdy goes for around 2,500 and the Ritter goes for around 1,200. But what they were saying, like I was talking to the guys, if you go to nooffseason.com/Graybos, you can see the episode where the guys had come into the shop when I was there to pick up their cards from the night before, both of the cards. And I was asking them, like, how much money have you guys put into breaks at Graybos? And they basically, even though they had each of those cards had just made them break even. So like they had been in, and Xavier's in the house. What's up, Xavier? How you doing, buddy? Good to see you, man.
Everybody.
There you go. One of the stars of the Sports Card Strategy Show and Tell. You are all stars of the Sports Card Strategy Show and Tell. So don't forget to get your show and tell submissions in. Email me at paul@nooffseason.com. Get them in for this Thursday. And yeah, anyway, just completing that thought. I mean, it's really that these guys had already spent thousands of dollars in breaks, and these cards had made them essentially become whole again. And so to me, I got in a few breaks early on when early 2021, and I felt I felt like depressed, like dejected. Like I just wasted $150, and I much rather would have had that $150 go towards singles that I can pick out myself. And this is kind of why we don't talk about breaking on the show, because this is the sports card strategy show, and it's really not a strategy. Breaking is not a strategy for making money, but I think with all these different new releases having just come out with Wembanyama in them, and it's like very exciting. It's been a very exciting time of year for different releases from all sports and from things that we've never seen before. Like NIL deals, Fanatics taking over different companies, Fanatics making moves, new things coming out. I could see where that type of entertainment value is huge. I'm not saying breaking is bad for the hobby. I think it definitely has its lane. Lefty owns a breaking company. Chad participates in a lot of breaks. Like, this is a big
Yeah, surely you're gonna let me have a say in some of this.
But I'm gonna pass it over to Lefty. I'm basically lukewarm on breaking overall.
We got to have Lefty bring it home. So Lefty, here's the $1 million question. Of all of our viewers that are going out and doing this $100 loop credit now, where should they spend that $100? Is it Bowman Chrome, Bowman Sapphire? If you had $100 to buy into a break right now, which break are you buying into?
Right now, I would save it personally. I would save it for when Bowman Draft comes out in December, or buy into a draft from last December. But what I always recommend for breaks is buying into a product that you think you can't get into on your own. For instance, if you don't have a hobby shop near you, if you don't have access to distributors or something like that, there are certain products out there that you cannot get, and that's what you get into breaks for. The other thing that I recommend is that you find a breaker that you like, that you find a breaker that you trust, and you find a breaker that knows you personally. For what we do at Just Breaks, we try to do a communal aspect, and we try to have a production value with it. And it's not just like card, cool, sure, we'll ship it to you. We like to talk about the prospects. We give you prospect knowledge. We like to give you different slot analysis and stuff like that. And so it's more of a community rather than just paying for a flash in the pan. But there is a flash in the pan aspect to it, and that I'm not regarding that. Definitely breaking is not how you would develop a portfolio, but there are strategic ways to do breaking. For instance, if you can find specific player breaks, POS breakers on eBay, they do specific players for Bowman cases and also for football and basketball breaks as well. They'll do specific players, then you can really dial into what you want. And they do like 10 case breaks at a time. So Mark, for what like you're talking about, and if you just want to go super deep on one particular prospect, then you can just buy really heavily into that. And I'm surely in a 10 case break, there would be an opportunity to get a bunch of the cards you're looking for. Plus, with a 10 case break, you have the opportunity to get several different numbered parallels, stuff like that. So that's not exactly the lane I'm in. I'm in the lane of like just trying to get cards for people that is a little bit unobtainable. For instance, most people don't have the ability to buy a $600, $700, $800 box, but they do want to get their chance at finding some first chromes. And so Bowman specifically, there's cards all the way down to the commons that you can flip and sell eventually. So with it being so prospect heavy, there's still opportunity to kind of learn the prospects and learn baseball through it. So that's specifically on that aspect. That's why we don't necessarily rip Optic or NBA Prism or anything like that, because the buy-in is so high for so few players. So there are definitely products that I would stay away from. There are definitely products that I would say would be break heavy products. For instance, something like a Bowman set, something like a Champions League Tops set, something like let's see, like a NBA like National Treasures, not something you would ever want to buy into a break because there's so few cards. And you're going to get one of the commons probably. There's really only one chance of getting an auto. If you're going to go National Treasures, just buy your own box.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're going to do something on like the mid tier, that's where you could see breaking be something you can't get at a retail store. So don't do like a break of blaster boxes, but you could do breaks of hobbies or jumbos or super jumbos. So.
Yeah, I love the idea of the Bowman draft, right? Because that's a set where everything's a prospect card, and and then and it's a longer term stuff. So you could see, gives you the opportunity to get somebody. You might get who you wanted, or you might get somebody who materializes later.
That's why I don't do football breaks, because it's quarterbacks only, basically.
Yeah.
So just go ahead and go buy singles of football players. The advantage of baseball is and soccer is there's a ton of prospecting that you can do through the breaks. Like you can target specific prospects that nobody really cares about right now. And then basketball also is a bit hard because of the amount of players that are in the set. But if you do something like Prism or Hoops, and if you pull pretty much any rookie card, you can usually get your break spot back. So,
yeah. So two things I want to add, and then you guys can finish off the show or cue the music, whatever you want to do. But to Lefty's point, football and basketball do not spend any money. I mean, you're literally lighting that money on fire, because first of all, the product right now, they're making so much of it. Even Prism is a garbage product right now. You buy the singles on eBay, let somebody else spend the money and break the boxes. You're never ever gonna come out of anything in football or basketball and breaks right now. Whereas baseball with Bowman products, you have a good chance. I mean, to break even or hit some pretty big stuff when you do Bowman. So I think Bowman is definitely an area that you would want to focus on if you're going to do a break. The second thing is watch breakers. If you find a guy like Lefty that breaks only baseball, you want to find somebody that knows baseball inside and out. Find a breaker that specializes in one sport like Lefty, and you're going to find a guy that is just loaded with knowledge. Just sit and watch Lefty do some breaks, and the knowledge that he's talking about, you can learn an awful lot as to who to buy. Even if you don't buy into the break, just listen to these guys. The guys that are good breakers just throw knowledge around like incredible.
Agree. Yeah. Totally agree. And we all want to support Lefty McKee. He does a great job, did a great job on today's show. Thank you to Chad Guell for donating the box of 1990 NBA hoops. For those of you who are new to the audience, you might think we're a bunch of jokers for breaking the 1990 hoops box, but we really just wanted to put together a fun show, something different than what we normally do, and talk about breaking strategy and give me the opportunity to relive my childhood with the 1990 NBA hoops. Real quick, we're going to do more audience Q&A later today on the Overflow show, which I will post later tonight, so stay tuned for that. But I do want to get real quick to Rusty Emagart's question, and then we will cue the rock music. But Lefty, I'm not sure how relevant, I don't know. This is a great question, and I appreciate it from Rusty. I don't know how relevant this is, because the odds that you would get a card that you would want to grade out of a break anyway is, to me, seems low, but it's worth asking. He says, do you think breaks allow better quality cards over single sells? Would the card be better out of breaks than a single that has been picked out to sell and then hyped up? I understand what he's saying. Chad's nodding. So Chad says yes. Lefty,
I think, let me ask if this is what he's saying. Is he saying, like, is the better, like, quality in terms of grading potential going to be out of a break versus one that's been looked at and then put online?
I think so, yes. Yeah, that's what I think.
I would say genuinely, yeah. I would say any single that I see on eBay, I assume that it's not mint quality, because that person would have sent it in.
Yep. Okay. Good question. Good question. Hey, Lefty, anything else you want to add for this show? Great job again, man. Anything else you want to add for this show?
No, man. Just be careful out there, guys. There's a lot of people that you can get scammed by.
Yep. And to Borusky's point, he says in the comments, it's easy to get addicted to this stuff. And, be careful to that. Be careful on that as well. Like I used to play daily fantasy sports, and the minute it started to affect my weekends with my family, just in terms of the amount of attention I was giving the FanDuel and DraftKings apps versus actually paying attention to my family, I realized gotta stop, gotta put this stuff down. So we love the hobby. We want you guys to participate as much as possible, but if you're spending too much time staring at loop and whatnot and drip and just breaks and everything like that, just take a break, right? Horrible, cheesy pun there, but love you guys. Thanks for watching and listening to the
Happy
Sports
late
Card
Father's
Strategy
Day,
Show.
fellas.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, thanks, Kendall. Appreciate that. Happy Father's Day to everyone out there. And thanks again for watching and listening to episode 87 of the Sports Card Strategy Show. For Lefty, McKee, for Chad, Guell, I'm Paul Hickey with nooffseason.com.
Play that rock music, boy.
Let's play the rock music. Hope to see you guys at the National.